Good afternoon, everyone. Today I'm going to show you my English 8 course that I designed this year in our course for tech tools for learning. Okay, so my English 8 course is of course a reading course because I believe that reading is fundamental and the gateway to pretty much anything in life. Starting with my course outcomes, were the TEKS that aligned with 8th grade that I felt were the most important for my learners to be able to master at the end of my course. So being able to use digital resources to find word origins and define words. My second TEK was inferencing, so comprehension skills to develop comprehension of increasingly complex text, response and reading skills with a variety of sources that are read, heard, and viewed. Learning multiple genres, recognizing and analyzing genre-specific characteristics and the purposes within those complex, traditional, contemporary, classical, and diverse texts. And my last outcome was finding the author's purpose in craft. Each week, we would do different things in our module. So week 1, this week we covered new and ambiguous words. Week 2, we learned how to make inference to support our inferences using evidence to support. Week 3, we made connections to ourselves and society through the text. Week 4, we used the text to find evidence to support our inferences through text-dependent questions. Week 5, we worked on paraphrasing and summarizing text. And week 6, we worked on the structural elements of argumentative text. Week 7, we worked on the author's purpose when writing a given text. And then week 8, we worked on the author's craft and described how the author's use of figurative language is an example of extended metaphor. The main text that was in this course was To Kill a Mockingbird. So here I gave several background knowledge to build in week 1 about like the Scottsboro case and how it relates to the case in To Kill a Mockingbird, so my students can get familiar with the content of the book. I have podcasts and videos about the history, if To Kill a Mockingbird still resonates today. Here we went and talked about the concepts of good and evil in To Kill a Mockingbird. Week 5, we focused on the Great Depression and reading about that. Week 6, we talked about the idea of racism and prejudice and bias. And then lastly, we just wrapped up with the symbolism behind the mockingbird. Next, I provided several audio and visuals. Each week, the clips should align with the TEK that they're learning. As you can see here, context clues, and then there was a podcast that relates to the content of the text, and so that just followed through the weeks. You have YouTube for inferencing, and then a podcast titled White Lies, making connections, how to make connections, podcast on if To Kill a Mockingbird should still be used for contemporary reading, how to find text evidence, and then analyzing the good and evil theme, and that just went on throughout that. Here, each week we had an authentic assessment. Week 1, they were to write an intro essay on the Scottsboro Boys. Week 2 was an inferencing assignment. Week 3 was research and presentation on the racial injustices in Alabama. There was an individual project in week 4 to understand the good versus evil theme. They have a video assignment for week 5. 6 was a formal discussion on Google Classroom. There was no assignment for week 7. Week 8 was their final for or against essay or PowerPoint to reflect on whether schools should still teach this book in today's age or let it, stay in the past. Here are my rubrics for some of these authentic assessment pieces. Next, we have our peer engagement. That's where each week, 4 weeks, week 1, week 3, week 5, and week 7, they were to have a peer engagement, which would be a discussion board on Google Classroom. I went on and talked about the goal, the questions they would answer, word count, replies, and so on and so forth. And then lastly, here is the grading rubric on the discussions. Contribution will be assessed, contributions to the discussion, the quality of your contribution. This working with others would be when you reply to your teammates, and just the overall focus. Thank you so much. This is my portfolio.